This tutorial discusses HIPAA security rule compliance for medium-sized organizations. It is focused on selecting reasonable and appropriate safeguards for a particular site, followed by creating an initial HIPAA risk assessment. This video focuses on HIPAA compliance for medium-sized, single-location sites with up to 50 staff. The HIPAA security rule requirements are straightforward. Organizations are required to maintain reasonable and appropriate administrative, physical, and technical safeguards to protect against reasonably anticipated threats or hazards. The HIPAA security rule, updated in 2013, clearly states that business associates and covered entities have the flexibility to choose security measures appropriate for their size and resources. There are multiple security protocols that define reasonable and appropriate safeguards, including NIST, ISO, COBIT, and DIACAP. However, federal agencies, including HHS auditors, are required by law to use the NIST protocols. While NIST 800-66 and its associated references are well written and extensively documented, they are not user-friendly in their raw form. While hospitals and large practices can hire expensive experts to apply these protocols, such expensive expertise is largely out of the budget for small groups. ACR and Compliance Helper have extensively interpreted and simplified these procedures to make them practically accessible to small organizations. There are over 100 possible safeguards for HIPAA-regulated organizations under NIST 800-66. Not all of these are reasonable and appropriate for all organizations. The current version of the HIPAA security rule, page 5589, explicitly states that appropriate depends on the size and resources of the organization. Safeguard status may be yes, yes alt, no, or NA for not applicable or not appropriate for this organization. Yes means the safeguard is in place and working effectively. Yes alt means the safeguard is being met using a compensating control. NA means the safeguard is not reasonable and appropriate for this location. No means the safeguard is reasonable and appropriate but is not in place or is not working effectively or has not been updated according to the necessary schedule. Safeguards may be NA due to cost, size of the organization, complexity, or there may be an alternative solution in place. The first tab of the NA status summary form lists potentially NA safeguards with typical reasons why they may be NA. The second tab of the form spreadsheet has definitions for each safeguard. Definitions are in both official NIST language and a 10th grade English paraphrase. The third tab lists the potentially NA elements by highlighting their possible status in gray. To accept the proposed NA status for a safeguard, place an X in the cell corresponding to the reason for NA status. The filled out NA status form will be used to create the initial HIPAA risk assessment for the organization. To log in and begin the initial risk assessment, look at the ACR2 Solutions license you should have received by email. If you do not have a license, contact your Compliance Helper contact. Depending on purchasing details, the license may have been sent to someone other than the HIPAA compliance officer. The license email will contain the URL for the risk assessment website, your username, and your initial password. To begin the risk assessment, log in to the website with the credentials given. After logging in, click on the Account Settings tab. Change the report email to allow the practice's compliance officer to receive reports. All organizations regulated under HIPAA are required to designate a compliance officer. Typically, this will be the office manager or possibly the owner. Other account settings may be changed at any time by browsing to this tab. After logging into the Risk Assessment portal, upload the filled out NA form to the Document Management Center for the risk assessment. To continue, click on Main Menu and then Start a New Assessment. From the Review page, go to the bottom of the page and click on Manage Assessment. The Manage Assessment button will bring up a summary page where large amounts of data can be quickly entered. Use the NA form as a guide to input NA values for the selected NA safeguards. Under NIST Good Practice, safeguards may be listed as NA due to considerations of cost, organization size, complexity, or the use of an alternate solution or compensating control. All NA safeguard designations need to be confirmed annually. If there's no change, clicking the Update tab on the Manage Assessments page, followed by clicking Submit Answers at the bottom of the page, will reset the effective date for the safeguard. An additional set of safeguard values needs to be updated at least annually. This set of 14 or so values includes many highly important safeguards, such as AC2 account management and AT2 security awareness training. Safeguard RA3 risk assessment is unusual, and the Good Practice teaches that the risk assessment should be updated quarterly, except for extremely small locations. This slide shows an account that has no NA safeguards, but does have 14 safeguards that require annual review. The assessment summary graph with updates shows reasonable compliance. The same site without updates shows unacceptably poor risks. Clicking on the Task tab brings up a management screen providing email communications for safeguard changes and updates. Updates may be scheduled to occur weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually. While in smaller companies, much of the safeguard updating and maintenance task falls to the compliance officer, larger organizations may have up to 10 or 15 individuals working on different safeguards or aspects of the security program. Input demographic data for your practice. After inputting data, click on the Submit and Finalize Answers button. A summary risk report will be sent to the email address for the compliance officer. An initial risk assessment will usually show a mixture of acceptable, marginal, and unacceptable risk scores. The Compliance Helper Associate will help guide the organization into achieving and maintaining full HIPAA compliance. Following initial risk assessments, practices are required to implement security measures sufficient to reduce risks and vulnerabilities to a reasonable and appropriate level. Typically, full HIPAA compliance may be achieved in the first year of activity. Once safeguards are in place, they must be periodically reviewed, modified, and documented. Under the procedures of the NIST, key safeguards and all safeguards listed as not applicable for a given site need to be reviewed at least annually. The summary risk graphs shown on this slide demonstrate the effect of 12 months of neglect on site risk scores. For more information, contact your Compliance Helper Associate or one of the individuals shown on this slide.